The village of Kintoro thrived like a pearl in the embrace of the great iroko tree that surrounded it. At dawn, the rising sun painted the thatched roofs gold, while the early morning mist lingered, softening the sharp edges of the clay path that wove between homes. The air was thick with the scent of fresh palm wine and roasted yams, a testament to the land's bounty. Chioma bent over a woven basket at the entrance of her home, her slender fingers deftly threading strips of raffia. Her mother, Ibile, sat beside her, the lines on her face etched by both years and laughter. The basket must be firm, Chioma, Ibile said, her voice warm but firm. A loose weave will spill the yams before you even leave the field. Chioma smiled, her hands working faster. You worry too much, Mama. My baskets never fail, just as a groove of whispers never fails to protect us. Ebele paused, her gaze drifting to the towering trees in the distance. The group watches over us, yes, but it is only as patient as we are respectful. Chioma glanced up. The grove had always been a source of fascination for her. No one spoke openly about what lay within its depths, but stories abounded, stories of spirits who whispered warnings, of blessings granted to those who honored the land, and curses for those who did not. As Shama walked, the sound of laughter drew her attention. Across the square, her childhood friend Kelechi was attempting to herd a group of goats with little success. Kelechi grinned, his sweat-soaked tunic clinging to his wiry frame. Perhaps, but I must try. My father insists they must be in the pen by midday, or he will have my head. Chioma shook her head, amusement dancing in her eyes. You had better hurry then. The sun won't wait for you. By midday, the village was alive with activity. Farmers returned from the fields, their baskets overflowing with yams and cassava. Children darted through the square, chasing each other with sticks, while women balanced clay pots on their heads, their laughter ringing out like music. In the shade of the elder's hut, Nana, a weathered farmer with a perpetually furrowed brow, sat sharpening his machete. The groove protects us, Nana muttered as Chioma passed by. But what protects us from our own foolishness? These young ones mock the old ways. They will bring ruin upon us. Chioma paused, her curiosity piqued. Who mocks the old ways, Uncle Nana? He waved her off with a grumble. All of them. Children who've never seen a bad harvest, who don't know what it means to beg the spirits for mercy. Chioma frowned but said nothing. She respected the elders, but their constant warnings about the groove felt exaggerated. The land was fertile, the rivers full. Why worry? As evening fell, the village gathered by the river for a small festival. The rhythmic pounding of drums filled the air, and dancers leapt and spun, their movements telling stories of bravery and gratitude. Ebele clapped along, her smile wide. Chioma watched the scene with a mixture of pride and unease. The groove loomed in the distance, its dark silhouette against the twilight sky. She couldn't shake the feeling that the stories might hold more truth than she wanted to admit. The next morning, the village square buzzed with activity as the weekly market came to life. Women with baskets of freshly harvested produce arrange yams, cocoyams, and plantains in neat rows. Merchants shouted over one another, advertising their wares, from brightly patterned wrappers to hand-carved wooden spoons. Chioma strolled through the market with a small basket tucked under her arm, her steps unhurried. She paused at Ineka's store, where bundles of herbs hung in fragrant clusters. "Good morning, Chioma," Ineka greeted, her wrinkled face lightening up. "Looking for something special today?" Chioma nodded. "Mama asked me for bitter leaves. She says it's time for another pot of soup." Nneka laughed, her hands expertly tying a bundle of leaves. "Ebele soups are famous. Perhaps one day you will learn to cook as well as she does." Chioma rolled her eyes playfully. "I'm more interested in learning about the groove than cooking, Nneka." Nneka's smile faltered. She glanced over her shoulder, lowering her voice. "The groove is not something to be curious about, my dear. It is to be respected." Chioma sighed, used to this response. "But why? What is it about the groove that everyone fears?" Before Ineka could answer, a loud crash interrupted them. Across the square, Emeka and his friends had knocked over a table of clay pots, laughing as the merchant scolded them. "These boys," Ineka muttered, shaking her head, "no respect for anything sacred. It's boys like them who will bring the spirit wrath upon us." Later that afternoon, Chioma and Kelechi walked along the river bank, their bare feet sinking into the soft, wet sand. "Do you ever wonder what is really in the groove?" Chioma asked, skipping a stone across the river. Kelechi shrugged. "Not really. My mother says it's full of spirits who protect us. Isn't that enough?" Chioma frowned. "But why are we forbidden to enter? Shouldn't we understand what protects us?" Kelechi laughed. "Not everyone is as curious as you, Chioma. Maybe it's better to leave some mysteries alone." They continued in companionable silence until they reached a clearing where elders often gathered to tell stories. Today, Eda Obi sat alone, his cane resting across his lap. "Eda Obi," Chioma greeted, her voice respectful, "will you tell us a story about the groove?" The old man's eyes twinkled. "The groove, you say? Very well. Come sit." Chioma and Kelechi settled on the ground, eager to listen. "Long ago," Obi began, "the grove was a sacred place where the spirits of the land dwelled. They granted us fertile soil, abundant rivers, and protection from harm. But they demanded respect in return. The grove is not ours, it belongs to them." He paused, leaning forward. "There was a time when the people forgot this. They grew arrogant, cutting trees and hunting animals in the grove. The spirits warned them, but they did not listen. And so, a great curse befell the village. The rivers dried, the crops withered, and sickness spread." Kelechi shuddered. "What happened then?" "The people begged for forgiveness," Obi continued, "but the spirits are not so easily appeased. It took a brave soul to enter the grove and face the spirits. Only then was the curse lifted." Chioma's heart raised. Who was this brave soul? Obi's gaze met hers. "Someone not unlike you, Chioma. Curious, determined, and unafraid of the unknown."